Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. Good morning to the ladies and gentlemen of the American jury as we embark upon yet another day of radio superbity. Good morning to TC. Good morning to Jacob, the videographer.
Good morning.
You know what my promo was last night? I don't know why, but I was thinking of Bruce Willis and that famous line, yippee-yi, yippee-ki-yay,
blankety blank.
Yes, yippee-ki-yay, blankety blank. And I thought to myself, let's yippee-ki-yay Iran, Syria, the streetcar, Mayor Malfeasance, that's his new nickname, and Clownsel.
Whoa. Mayor Malfeasance, I like
Mayor
that.
Malfeasance. Obama Nation. Let me see. We got radical Islam, terrorists, Asian carp. We don't like Asian carp. Liberals, socialists, China, Russia, communists, jackwagons, frenemies, wimps.
Is that a drink at Starbucks?
Frenemies. Now, those are the people on Facebook that are really your enemies, and they act like they're your friend. It's frenemies. Oh. They're dangerous. Wimps, sissies. Have I left out anybody?
No, I think you covered them all.
Okay. I tell you right.
Oh, no, somebody, yeah. The guys that wave at you dressed up like the Statue of Liberty.
Yes, we don't like them. Yeah. We don't like them.
Do I have to wave back?
No, you do not have to wave back, TC.
Thank you.
You know, one day when we're really famous and we're in parades, we're going to have to practice that wave.
Yeah, right.
You know, the
Queen has that down, doesn't she?
The Queen wave, absolutely. Yeah. Got to have the wave down. If you haven't noticed, we've got a big announcement on Real Talk 1160 on my morning show. We are happy to report, and it's been going on all week, 7:28 a.m., the O'Reilly Talking Points, and at 8:28, we have the Huckabee Report. You know, they insisted that they wanted to be on my show. They didn't want to be on, anybody's show. They said, we got to be on the Bulldog. And how about Rush Limbaugh, in invoking Breitbart, said he was the Bulldog for the cause. I'm like, Rush, I'm the Bulldog.
He probably got fined for mentioning your name, But, it's interesting, though, with the a lot of times in the morning, you'll mention something that O'Reilly will talk about, and he runs early in the morning before 7 o'clock as well. But a lot of Bulldog Nation listeners don't turn on the radio till 7 o'clock, so they miss the whole thing. So now they can hear the report, and they can better understand your comments on it.
That is correct. Remember, next Thursday, March 8th, down at the Assembly Cafe in Falmouth, Pendleton County, I will be doing a comedy show. Lots of good material. You can buy tickets in advance there, $25. Quote of the day, God grants liberty, only those who love it and are always ready to guard it and defend it. Daniel Webster. Today in history, TC, pretty good stuff. The Republic of Texas declared its independence in 1836. And what do we know from that? We got the Alamo. We got Sam Houston, John Wayne, Jim Bowie, the Bowie knife.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff. The Republic of Texas. 1939, Roman Catholic Cardinal. What the heck? That isn't even the good news. Hell with that.
Go ahead. You got to finish now.
Roman Catholic Cardinal Eugenio Pacelli was elected Pope on his 63rd birthday. He took the name of Pius XII. I say big deal. Although he was a pope in history. He was a pope that turned his eye from the Nazi Holocaust of the Jews.
Really?
Controversial there.
Well, see, that's kind of significant. Now, a lot of people didn't know that. I didn't know that.
That's right. 1962, Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points for the Philadelphia Warriors in a game against the New York Knicks, an NBA record. Kobe got like 80 one time. Now, this is back in the day. Now, no three-point shot, TC.
Right.
169 to 147. Lots of defense. Did they even have steals and block shots?
I guess not.
It was illegal, or it was like a foul to play defense. 169 to 147.
I mean, how does that happen?
I remember being a little kid and seeing those NBA scores, and they were like that. Rick Barry from the Golden State, just putting in points.
When I was a kid, I was a geek. I had an ABA ball.
Did you? I had an ABA ball. Dr. J, baby.
Yeah.
I was such a Dr.
Julius? Yeah.
Dr. J fan. I remember buying his Scholastic books. I would buy his biography.
Oh, yeah.
And all those other athletes back then. I still have them. I'm a pack rat. I have saved every book I've ever bought. Happy to report, TC, no military deaths. Famous birthdays. We got 3, the trifecta. We have 3 great birthdays. Dr. Seuss. How do you like that? Dr. Seuss. We all grew up with Dr. Seuss. Desi Arnaz, who was married to Lucy. You didn't know that. Lucy. And John Bon Jovi. Hint, hint, what our feel-good song might be later in the show. 3-day forecast today, strong storms. Saturday, partly cloudy, high of 46. Sunday, few snow showers. Looks like the weather's going to suck this weekend.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to do. I actually put this down on local news today. We got lots to do this week. You know where to find this stuff. Home and Garden Show, the Pompeii exhibit, the Bach Fest, and the West Side Story. Let me see. History story. It started in Engelberg, Elz. The Berlin woman was hosting a dinner party for White House speechwriter Peter Robinson, who was researching a speech Ronald Reagan was going to give at the Berlin Wall. Talking about Soviet Premier Mikhail Gorbachev, she said if he was serious about perestroika, he can prove it. He can get rid of this wall. Robinson seized on the idea as a cornerstone for the speech. Then came writer's block. He couldn't get the line the way he wanted it. Herr Gorbachev, bring down this wall. The air was to please his German audience, but it didn't quite work. Herr Gorbachev, take down this wall. Still not right. He even tried taking the whole line out, replacing it with a challenge in German to open the Brandenburg Gate. Herr Gorbachev, machen Sie dieses Tor auf. Not exactly a line to resonate through the ages. Eventually got it right. Then it turned out that everybody seemed to hate it. Secretary of State George Shultz, National Security Advisor Colin Powell, and others declared that it was too provocative, that it should be taken out. News drafts of the speech were written with the line taken out. The point was argued for weeks, right up to the day of the speech. One man never wavered in his support of the phrase, the president. The line stayed in. And less than 3 years later, the wall came down. By the way, that's a true story. Ronald Reagan kept that line in there despite all of his visors saying, don't do it. Don't do it.
I can't believe they spent that much time debating that.
Good point. Good point.
And good for Ron for sticking to his guns.
Absolutely. You got to stick to your guns. How much time we got for the next break?
Another 3 minutes.
Well, we got time to do all the oracles. We got to do a posthumous oracle for Andrew Breitbart. But I got an interesting take on this guy. I never really cared for him.
Really?
I thought he was weird. You know, he worked at the Huffington Post. He worked at the Drudge Report. A lot of the conservatives are saying wonderful things about him. He was in discussions, TC, get this, because he brought down Andrew Weiner with the photos.
Right.
He was in discussions, apparently, with CNN to do a show with Andrew Weiner.
Really?
Boy, CNN.
How ironic.
CNN's like, thinking outside the box.
Really?
Also, Oracle status, Edna Chadwell. Nobody knows who she is. She is the last madam. The last madam in the best little whorehouse in Texas. The real best little whorehouse in Texas.
Oh, really?
Yep, she passed away.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
We got to give Wilt 100 points today, Oracle status. So there are oracles.
Yeah.
Here we go, oracles. Jack Wagons, you're not going to believe this. Sergeant Schultz, that's Debbie Wasserman Schultz, is attending a terrorist fundraiser. More to come later. Bill Lockyer, who is the California treasurer, all I'm going to tell you is he made a bad choice for his wife. More to come later. And then Obama, I tell you, it just keeps on coming. More to come later. There are Jack Wagons today, a trifecta of Jack Wagons. Pop culture. Are you ready for some pop culture?
We are ready for pop culture.
I put in my favorite love songs of all time before Adele. I think Adele now, like that song that she has, would definitely be in the top 5.
Oh, yeah.
So these
Someone
are my
like
top 5 all-time love songs, TC.
All right.
Before Adele. Number 5, nobody's got this on their list. Ronnie Millsap, I Wouldn't Have Missed It for the World. It's a song about a man describing how much he loved her, and he wouldn't have missed it for the world despite it all falling apart.
Really?
And it is a very
5?
good love song.
Heartbreaker.
Number 4, Bread, Everything I Own. Man, that's about a guy that would give up everything he owns to have her back once again.
That song's about his father.
It is?
His father passed away. He wrote that song.
3, Alan Jackson, Remember When. Gives you goosebumps every time.
Okay.
Number 2, Garth Brooks, The Dance.
Oh,
you wouldn't have missed The Dance. And my number 1 love song of all time before Adele, Lobo, I Love You Don't Want Me. Chop it away, TC. Chop it away. That's what these lists are for. These lists are to get people talking.
To each his own. You got to throw at least one Lionel Richie tune in there, don't you
Lionel
think?
doesn't even make my top 10 list.
Are you kidding me? And you put those 5 above Adele?
No, I said before Adele.
Oh, before Adele.
Adele's latest song would be like numero uno, but it's not really a love song. It's about heartbreak song. I'm going to do the top 5 heartbreak songs.
Oh, okay.
Bonnie Tyler, It's a Heartache, Adele. See, there's a different kind of song where love or my heart's broken.
Gotcha. All right, okay.
We come back, more pop culture on Real Talk 1160.
Make sure you listen for Michael Savage coming up today at noon to 3 on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
This is the Bulldog, Eric Deters on Real Talk 1160. Picking up where we left off with pop culture. The last madam of the infamous Texas brothel that inspired the movie The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas has died. She was 84. Edna Milton, Chadwell's nephew, Robert Clefman, said his aunt began working at the chicken ranch in 1952. About 3 years later, Chadwell became the manager. In 1962, she bought the establishment and ran it until it was shut down in 1973. Chadwell then moved to Arizona, where she got married and remained until she died. Can you imagine, like, broaching that subject with your new boyfriend? So what have you been doing lately? Well, I got to rent a chicken ranch. Oh, chickens, huh? Neat. Well, we did more than chickens. Sunday Night TV coming up to Sunday night. Controversial show, but Kristen Chenoweth's in it, so it'll be great. 10 p.m., The Good Christian Bitches. Controversy about the name.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Bomb scare at Rush Limbaugh's house yesterday, TC. A suspicious package, but it was a false alarm. And Britney Spears has settled her sexual harassment lawsuit with her former bodyguard. I think it was a BS case. He claims she flashed him. Bulldog note, I want an accurate description like Paula Jones did with Bill Clinton. Describe it. Come on, describe it. Describe what you saw. I wonder if he can. In sports, not a lot in sports. We talked about Wilt's big day. They horse Hansen as a 6-5 favorite at Saturday's Gotham Stakes. And the only other thing I got in sports is University of Kentucky last night waxed Georgia 79-49. It was senior night blowout. They are getting better. They're getting more confident. Barring injury, it's going to take a terrible night off for them to lose, but I don't think that's going to happen. They have too many scorers. They got 7 people that can score. They play defense. They have 3 good three-point shooters. And they've got the best player in the country in Anthony Davis. I mean, they're like a machine. I mean, how fun that must be for Calipari to coach, to have all those weapons. You just have all those weapons.
It's like Christmas every day.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's just like, he's like, I'm going to put this guy in and make myself look good. You know, it doesn't matter what he does. It's incredible. American Idol, I cannot believe I forgot about this in pop culture. My apologies. Our little... Is it Eben or Aben, the little 15-year-old?
Eben.
Eben,
I think.
He did not make the final 13.
Oh, well.
He didn't make it. Now,
strong showing.
I am torn between Skylar Lane from Mississippi, Erica Van Pelt from Rhode Island, and Shannon McGrain from Tampa. And TC, I base this only on vocal talent. It has nothing to do with the photographs I saw in USA Today this morning. I am basing this solely upon vocal talent. Skylar Lane, Erica Van Pelt, and Shannon McGrain.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
I mean, I listened to the vocals from the USA Today newspaper, and I decided that these were the 3 best.
And they sounded great.
They sounded great in the USA today.
What a great paper that is in print.
A few life's observations I think you'll find funny. My son sprained his ankle 2 nights ago playing basketball.
That's not funny.
And yes, it is because of what happened. He says he's hurt. What should he do? I said, go to the ER. You know, everybody like criticizes those people that go to the ER for everything. Yeah. I'm sorry. I said go to the ER. My wife, Mary, insisted that he go to the primary care physician, and that's what he ended up doing. But I just thought it was funny. I said, man, I'm like all those people that abuse the system. Now, I do have health insurance. My job fair last night, I met with 20 prospective workers from my websites in my downtown Cincinnati office, and it went well. If you are looking for a job and you can write, photograph, you got some social networking skills, email me at eric@ericdeters.com. Got a lot going on. And Riley made my day. My grandchild, TC, I went home at 1:30 yesterday to watch my – what a husband and grandpa I am.
What kind of a husband and grandpa
in the middle of
are you?
a busy day, I went home to watch my grandchild, Riley, for an hour while my wife went to the doctor.
Okay. Had fun.
And before she left – and I left the living room, in the living room playing with Riley. And Riley's so sweet. She greets everybody with a smile. When I left the room for a minute, I had to go in the kitchen. Riley cried for me to come back.
She missed Papa.
So I turned around and came back. It was the first. I'm thinking, my granddaughter has bonded with me. She did. She cried.
She inflated your ego once again.
For me to come back. My ego. I don't have any kind of an ego.
Well, I know, but you will now.
I mean, Riley
Never
might.
in the past.
You know, if Riley keeps that up, I might develop an ego,
right,
TC.
right, I can see it happening.
By the way, I heard that promo that you do about pulling your hair out.
What hair?
That's what she said.
I left that hair in the 80s.
Now, I got this question on life experience, and I haven't asked this question. I'm famous for rhetorical questions, and this question is going to pop up. I thought it'd be a fun question on a Friday. This is going to pop up on my Facebook page. Who do you want in a foxhole with you, and who do you not want in a foxhole with you? In other words, when times are tough, who do you want in a foxhole and who don't? And I was thinking about our presidential candidates and our president. I hate to say this. I wouldn't want any of them in a foxhole with me.
No.
None of them would be a guy that I think would, like, stick with you through thick or thin, be tough, help you out. Don't see it, do you?
No, you know what? Herman Cain, maybe.
Herman Cain, maybe.
Yeah.
But he's out. But I'm talking about the ones that left.
The one now?
I would not mind having Herman Cain in the foxhole with me. Or Michelle Bachmann. But no, I didn't say that.
No,
Go
not
ahead.
at all. No, Newt, maybe. If it were beneficial to him to save you, yeah, he'd be okay because he's pragmatic like that. But the other two, nah.
You hit the nail on the head. The only one that I would that run in is Herman Cain. But I was thinking about that. People I like in a foxhole. There are some people that I wouldn't mind being in a foxhole, but there's other people I'd say, man, I wouldn't want to be in a foxhole. Tim Tebow would be a good one in a foxhole.
He might have a little,
he might be
God's blessing falling on you there.
But he's a kind of God-believing God, so he'd be self-sacrificing.
Yeah.
513-579-1160. If you've got somebody in mind that you think would be good in the foxhole, or let's face it, somebody funny to be in the foxhole with, or not to be in the foxhole with. Sarah Palin, foxhole, for different reasons.
Different reasons, yes.
Well, Sarah, we're stuck out here. It's
like
cold.
We're not going to make it.
It's cold tonight. It looks like we're not going to make it. You know, it's amazing how her look has changed, and she's changed her look when she was first announced as the vice presidential nominee with McCain till today. She has gone glam, baby.
Yes, she has.
I mean, she has gone glam. She's no longer that gun-toting hockey mom. She's glam all the way.
She's seen an image consultant. No
yes,
doubt.
she has. Some big local and regional news. Jerome Simpson pled guilty yesterday to a felony drug charge, and the prosecutor is recommending a 60-day jail sentence. The question is, will he be a Bengal? I bet he is.
You think so, huh?
I bet he's a Bengal.
What happened to that zero-tolerance policy, Mr. Brown?
I don't know. I think he'll be a Bengal. How about this? Lebanon Raceway in Warren County sold for $60 million. New ownerships include a casino in Churchill Downs. It's going to be casino and slots. You know what? There's a glut of casinos. Just think, okay, we're going to have a downtown casino.
Yeah.
Then you have that. If you have one there, I mean, they're all going to just lose money. I'm telling you. That's just my thought. Beckfield College, ABA approved their program for paralegals. Congratulations. Retail space, according to the Business Courier, 19 properties around the tri-state with 50,000 square feet of vacant square footage. Not good. We come back, more local and regional news. And, of course, we have everything else. Great political stuff to discuss today. Great stuff. When we come back, Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. We got the feel-good song coming up. We got Green Water. We got the joke. Got a great joke. I tried it out on TC, and he laughed.
That's a good one.
So who do we have on here?
We have half of the fat guys.
A fat guy in the woods.
The fat guy in the woods. We had some storms run through here, and he's stuck.
Well, all I can tell you is this. If you got storms that ran through that, I guess Ace Hardware sales will be up.
Isn't that? Yeah, we don't like it that way, but it's true. You know, we really feel sorry for all those people out west that had those tornadoes and everything hit.
Well, what's new for the Ace Hardware stores in your store and around the tri-state, and what do you got planned tomorrow for your listeners right here on Real Talk 1160 from 11 a.m. to noon?
Well, we get to start a new time tomorrow, 10 o'clock. We're on at 10 tomorrow.
What?
And,
what? 10
yeah,
o'clock?
We're switching times in Cincinnati, 10 o'clock. And then we're going to be at the Cincinnati Home and Garden Show at 12.
You know what?
That's
it makes
right.
sense to be at 10. It flows because you follow Denny McEwen. Whoever made that programming decision was a smart person.
Isn't that great? Yeah, we wanted that from the get-go, and here we got it.
Now, you're going to the Home and Garden Show after. You're going to be there at noon?
Yes, that's what the plan is.
Well, what are you going to do there? Are you going to, sexually harass the female patrons? Are you going to sell chainsaws for
When they're not looking, I'm going to sexually harass them.
All right. Well, what
We're
are you
going to edit that part out.
You're going to edit that part out?
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, please do.
So what are you going to do down there? Do you got a booth or something?
Yeah, we're with the Ace Hardware booth. Ace Hardware's got a booth there. We're going to be with them, and we're going to just be talking to people, getting to know the Cincinnati people.
Last year I was down there helping them clean grills with my Bulldog's grease away at the Ace Hardware booth.
The Bulldog's grease away. Are you coming this year?
No.
Why not?
I'd hate crowds.
I heard you got a nice-looking Bulldog.
I have a nice-looking wife and an ugly Bulldog.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Make sure you keep that straight.
I want you to know my Bulldog is so ugly she's cute.
She's cute, huh? I'd love to see her.
Whiskey. Her name is Whiskey.
Whiskey, that's my favorite drink.
I know that. You guys come up with new whiskey drinks every Saturday.
We're trying, yeah. This week we're doing gas water heater maintenance, so you got to listen in. You know you got to maintain your water heater.
Yeah, my wife does all that maintenance for us. By the way, in light of the gas prices, are you guys going to do gas siphoning techniques for the thieves out there?
You know, it's hard to do these days. They make the cars so you can't do that. So, Smokey's tried.
Do you know my Ford F-150 truck, Rick, this is interesting. It's got no gas cap.
No gas cap. At least you have a Ford.
No gas cap. I don't know how it's it, but it's got no gas cap.
Well, how's that work? Is it a brand new truck? You can afford one of those, huh?
Hell, I have no idea, but I just don't have a gas cap, and I don't need one. It's got some special contraption on there.
Man, that's cool. I haven't seen one of those. I've got one of those old Ford F-250s.
F-250, you want to put them back to back, bumper to bumper, and have a tow, have a
you might
have
want
a pull.
to. I got a diesel with a chip in it. The thing's faster than my BMW.
At the Kenton County Fair, this is funny. The Kenton County Fair, they used to have these tug of wars with trucks, and my good buddy Danny Cook, it was my best buddy in grade school. This guy, who's a construction dude, he doesn't have any money. He goes and puts his truck in their thing, and it destroys his transmission. Destroys his transmission. He comes to me and says, "Man, it destroyed my transmission." I said, "Danny, what the hell are you thinking, man?"
Man, that's not too smart with trucks like that, especially if it's your driver.
But my F-150, I got it all fixed up, modified, and everything else. It's got an airplane engine in it. It can go 230 on the open interstate.
It's tricked out.
You got it all jacked up too, the lift kit and all that.
Oh yes, I can just go around or over somebody. The wheels
fit in right down with Smokey in his neck of the woods.
The wheel. So where is Smokey today?
He got stuck down there in his neck of the woods at home in Brown County, Indiana.
Wow.
Well, how did he get stuck? He's supposed to be a hardy guy.
Yeah, he's hardy, but his truck's a Dodge.
The Bulldog Nation Bulldog Nation commander would just like to say we love all American-made vehicles and foreign-made vehicles for that matter. If you drive a vehicle, we like you. All right, I cleared that mess up for you.
There you go. At least it's not a Toyota, huh?
So the Home and Garden Show.
Hey, they make Toyotas in Indiana.
Hey, they do, but it's still a Toyota.
So how about that Home and Garden Show? You guys going to be down there right after your show at noon?
That's the plan.
So
we're going to be down at the Home and Garden Show. Come see us. Smokey and I be sitting at the booth because God knows he can't stand up.
Now, when people come down to see you, is it like a Star Trek convention where your fans come dressed as their favorite fat guy?
I sure hope not. That'd be kind of scary. We're hoping for the nice, pretty ladies to come by and say hi to us.
That was good, TC. How about green water? Are you selling green water down there this year?
I don't know. Are they? I haven't been to this thing. I heard it's a good time.
What's a good time? Green water?
The Home and Garden Show.
Oh,
it is. It is.
is.
It is a great time. You'll have a lot of fun.
I just want you to know, Rick, you're getting a C+ today. You're usually A+. You're getting a C+ today.
Why is that?
I don't know if it's the interviewer or the interviewee, but this is a C+ interview.
I apologize.
And no jokes. You've yet to tell a joke. Don't you got anything?
I don't tell jokes. Smokey's the jokester.
I see.
Yeah, and they're not good, so who cares?
Well, listen, you hang on and listen to the joke that I'm about ready to tell, and I promise laughter.
I can't wait.
All right, one final promo. What do you want to promote? Promote it.
Ace Hardware, acehardware.com. Get on there, get in your local Ace Hardware, and come to the Cincinnati Home and Garden Show and see us.
And 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
All right.
Do we have time for the joke?
We have time. We got plenty of time.
All right, here's the joke. Little Johnny was a good little Italian Catholic boy, and he had to go to confession every week like his little church told him to do. And little Johnny went into the confessional, as all Catholics do, and bless me, Father, for I have sinned, and started to make his confessions. And he confessed that he had inappropriate contact with a young little female classmate. And the Italian priest was outraged. Johnny, who was it? I want you to tell me. And little Johnny said, Father, I'm sorry. I'm not going to reveal the name. And the father said, was it little Angie Bertolini? Father, I told you I'm not going to tell you. Was it little Lori Capolini? Father, I told you I'm not going to tell you. I'll bet you it was Patty Dontelio. Father, again, I'm not going to tell you, Johnny said. What about little Paula Castellano? Father, for the last time, I'm not going to tell you. I can't believe you're not going to tell me. You say 5 Our Fathers, 5 Hail Marys, and stay away from the little girls. So Johnny went out of the confessional and went back to the pew where he was going to do his 5 Hail Marys and 5 Our Fathers, and his little buddy Billy says, what'd you get, Johnny? Johnny looks at him and he says, 4 really good leads.
Well,
Bulldog.
Yes.
that was worth it. See you, Rick.
I thought Rick was already gone.
He was holding on for the joke.
He was holding on to the joke.
It was worth the wait.
It was worth the wait.
We've got about 2.5 minutes. You want to take another caller?
Oh, we got another caller.
Yeah,
Great.
I believe this is Rick. This is Rick.
Rick, you're on Real Talk 1160.
Hey, Bulldog, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
First off, can you revoke Oracle status if you give someone a jackwagon?
Yes, I can. I have the power to do any of that.
Okay, well, maybe I don't want to do this anymore, but this is my first time I've been able to call in a couple of weeks, and I remember you telling a story that when you tried to pass a kid once, he sped up and kind of kept you pinned in one lane.
Yes.
Yeah, that could possibly be me because I do that all the time.
Are you the pinner or the penny?
I'm the pinner.
Why do you want to be a pinner, Rick?
It gives me something to do while I drive. It's entertaining to see other people get so angry.
I can tell you right now, this morning, there was a semi-tractor trailer dude that wouldn't let me get in on I-75 at the Fort Wright exit. I couldn't believe his lack of courtesy to the Bulldog.
I figure this is a good way to get your blood to start pumping before you start on your rant today. So.
Well, Rick, I appreciate it. And don't be a pinor. We don't want pinors, do we?
We want a kinder, gentler 75.
You want to hear the latest from the Cincinnati City Council? You know, they're lending $1 million to Mahogany. According to the Cincinnati Business Courier, they're going to announce the creation of Investing in the Future initiative to ensure the city's tax and incentive policies. They're going to form a commission. Bulldog note, no commission needed. Your tax and policies suck. Why do you got to have a commission to study that?
You don't.
I don't think you need a commission. I mean, I don't think you need a commission at all.
Makes them look like they're doing something.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. I just don't get it. By the way, yesterday in the fertile fields of practicing law, I fired a client. I was prepared to help this guy.
A client?
Yeah, I fired a client. I was prepared to file this medical malpractice case until his daughter acted like a jackwagon, and I fired a client.
Wow.
Man, I tell you what, the practice of law is just incredible, filled with stories. Did I tell you the story? This is a great story. The time I was cross-examining this woman about my age on the witness stand, and in the middle of the cross-examination, I realized that it was somebody I had dated. And she realized it too. And she brought it up in front of the jury. And the jury started laughing their butts off. I said, oh my God.
Wow.
That was funny.
So now what they do? The conflict of interest?
No, it wasn't a conflict of interest. I proceeded to just continue to ask her questions, but she probably had good reasons not to like me, DC. I'll share the story when we come back.
I'd like to hear that story.
On Real Talk 1160.
Remember, if you can't find a radio, use the TuneIn Radio app free on your iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android to hear Real Talk 1160. Whether you're in Finneytown, Fairfield, or Fort Worth, you can hear Real Talk 1160 anytime with the TuneIn Radio app. And now tune in to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Look into your eyes. Yeah, I went out on this date with this girl one time. Never called her again. I think she was upset about that.
She'll be known as the Witness.
I remember the date, though. There was a animated film about rock music focusing on Jefferson Airplane, White Rabbit.
Yeah, I remember that.
I saw that movie with her.
I remember that kind of psychedelic
It was a psychedelic animated film.
I remember that movie. Didn't get it.
I didn't get it either. Could have seen a better movie.
Right. Maybe that's why there was only one date.
How unbelievable that is. I remember the movie. I remember everything.
That's amazing.
I do. I remember. I mean, you pick out who I went to. Like I remember Caddyshack with that one date.
Yeah. Now the Caddyshack, great movie. Bet you had a second date.
No, because remember, that was the time period when I just wanted cute and sweet and nice, not high heel hooker-looking girls.
Yeah, your misspent youth.
Yes. How about a green water commercial?
We do have a green water commercial. This is a special one today. You ready for this one?
I am ready.
Green water available at Queen Kick.
That was good. You know what? Have you seen the movie The Artist?
No, I have not seen the movie.
That person, I'm not allowed to mention their name, asked me for a movie review to go to a movie tonight, and I suggested that, and they didn't want to go see it, so I suggested Moneyball, but The Artist won Best Picture, and it deserved it.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
And
I'll have to go see it.
We need to have some black and white green water placed in that sucker.
Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? That little product placement. That's just
product
what we need.
placement. The feel good song. We decided we want to honor John Bon Jovi.
Oh yeah.
On his birthday today, and we had lots of choices because he had lots of hits, but we chose "Living on a Prayer," which, let's face it, today in America, I know a lot of you are out there living on a prayer. It's all you got.
When this song was a big hit back in the 80s, all the jocks loved it because it's got a long intro.
You don't have hope. You don't have cash, like that joke goes. All you got's a prayer.
That's about it.
Wall, 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 wall. Sounds like.
And how old is Mr. Bon Jovi today again? He is getting at the golden birthday.
Is he 50?
He is 50 years old today.
You know what? Their story started out in the garage.
The ultimate garage band.
I mean, they made it. I mean, you got to have some luck, man. He got some luck and hard work.
Yeah.
Down on his luck. Tommy was down on his luck, man. So tough. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sad to report, we had 2 more soldiers killed by Afghan soldiers. That's messed up.
Yeah, that's situations. We need to get control of that.
Need to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Monday, Barack Obama meets with Netanyahu in the White House.
What's that all about? About?
Don't bomb Iran, Ben. Don't bomb Iran.
See, I think the strategy is a little different. I think what they're secretly saying is, we really wouldn't mind if you did that.
Exactly.
But to the public, they're saying, look, we really don't want any violence. We need to talk this out. Sanctions. That's what they're doing.
That is exactly my position. Let Israel do it.
Yeah. Kind of like in The Godfather. Remember Tatalia?
Yes.
He did all the dirty work.
That's why I got Chuck. Isn't that funny? The lyrics on that video, they go, whoa. They put the whoa up in the video. That's hilarious.
Somebody had to write that. Someone's getting paid for that.
Tommy's got 6 string and hocks. He's holding in what he used to make it talk so tough.
That's his guitar, his 6-string.
You know, it's a good thing that they have these lyrics because most of these songs I have no idea. Saturday Night Live did a joke. They had it was Will Ferrell and Tom Hanks did it, were the main characters in it. The white guys trying to sing along with songs.
And mumbling through
What
the
is
words.
it about little girls? My daughters, when they were in middle school, knew the lyrics to every song. I
don't know.
Why do little girls have that ability, but we guys don't?
They're thinkers. I don't know. They're more intelligent than we are.
They must be.
That has to be it.
A big victory yesterday for birth control. An election year battle mixing birth control, religion, and politics. Democrats narrowly blocked an effort by Senate Republicans to overturn President Barack Obama's order that most employers of the insurers cover the cost of contraceptives. Apparently, this bill was going to basically say any employer could object to whatever. I mean, it was pretty broad.
Right.
It's messed up. We're talking about contraceptives when our company's going bankrupt. And how about Rick Santorum? Rick Santorum acts like he's the one that brings this stuff up, trying to appeal to the social conservatives, and then he gets mad when the media talks to him about it.
Now, see,
you can't have it both ways, Rick.
I think they're creating a situation, creating a problem where one may or may not exist, but they figure we can get votes that way. Just like you said.
Thinking about getting votes that way, how about this? Barack Obama is turning his political sights on New Hampshire. He's calling for the end of oil and gas subsidies. You know what? That's an easy thing to do. I mean, you know what? They're making money. They shouldn't have subsidies.
Yeah.
I agree with the president on that. We don't need oil and gas subsidies. They're making billions of dollars. Why should we give them more money?
Good point.
Sarah Palin is defending herself. HBO running a movie called Game Change, and she's running a video defending it and saying that they should have a little disclaimer that say work of fiction. You know, Sarah Palin, I agree with her policies. I agree with her new look. But come on, man. She reads her speeches. She just states the talking points over and over again.
Yeah. She's a figurehead.
And you know,
she must not like the movie.
Yeah, she does not like the movie. Not at all. I spoke to a very smart, intelligent person I admire, John Yinker, owns a radio station, yesterday about some things. And you know what he pointed out?
What's that?
He pointed out, who the hell cares about this average Joe, Mitt Romney relating to the average Joes? He knows Romney. You know, he says,
he really?
Yeah, and he says, you know what? When you think about it, it is true. Do you want somebody that the average Joe can relate to running the country, or do you want some smart leader who's right on policy? And you know what? When you think about it, that makes sense. Now, it would be better if they could relate, but that shouldn't be the all-end-all.
I want a smart average Joe. I want a guy that stands in the grocery store and looks at a can of peas and decides which one is cheaper because I can't afford to buy the name brand now because of the. I want a guy who thinks like that.
Well, you don't have one.
Yeah, I wanted a pony for Christmas too.
You don't have one. Individual totals. Romney's got 168 delegates. Santorum 80s. I tell you what, old Newt, he's barely beating Ron Paul. And whatever happened to Huntsman? He disappeared, didn't he?
He couldn't get on stage.
By the way, I would not want to be in a foxhole with him.
No, that might be a good thing because no one would notice it.
You might be wondering who votes. Tomorrow is Washington, 43 delegates, and you might be saying, who votes on Super Tuesday? Alaska is a caucus, 27 delegates. Georgia, 76 delegates. Idaho, 32. Massachusetts, 41. North Dakota, 28. Ohio, 66. Oklahoma, 43. Tennessee, 58. Vermont, 17. Virginia, 49. By the way, Santorum's not even on the ballot in Virginia. So Romney's going to win. I don't think Newt is either. So he's going to win those 49.
Yeah.
What a screw-up. Not getting on the ballot. This from the Ben Stein column in the American Spectator. This is what he wrote. This is great stuff. I just finished watching C-SPAN. It was fascinating. A very smart GOP freshman senator from Wisconsin was grilling Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta. That a senator asked a simple question. Why are members of the armed forces being required to up their health insurance payments when civilian federal employees who have unions are not? Secretary Panetta had no answer at all. He just sort of squirmed. reports Ben Stein. Good question, isn't it?
Very good question.
You know what? With more and more soldiers coming back with suicide, health risks, post-traumatic stress disorder, what the hell are we doing? Cutting their health benefits.
Right.
Silly. Santorum's big mistake, you don't robocall Democrats to vote for you in a GOP primary. Hello, Democrat. I'm your devil.
Vote or die.
But I'd rather you be my devil today than the other guy's devil.
Help me be the spoiler.
When we come back, I'm going to give you the statistics on this birth control debate, and I'm going to report some things. These are the headlines I got. She said that. He had a bad day. I'm losing my mind. Are all coming up on Real Talk 1160. You start talking about an armed march, the next thing you know, you're getting station management qualifiers. On Real Talk 1160, this is the Bulldog delivering radio superbity. I want to wish luck to J.K. Schaefer, who's working out for a pro day today. Make us proud, J.K. Make us proud. If you want me to be your lawyer in Ohio, email me at eric@ericdeters.com. I make my countdowns 52 days. It's already going quick. I already got like 10 days knocked out.
You could do the next 52 days standing on your head.
I can do it standing on my head. Also, the following four, again, I'm baiting everybody. These are the next four topics we're going to have. WTH, she said that, he had a bad day, and I am losing my mind. Let's go.
All right.
What the heck? It's like a game show host. Let's go.
I'll take WTH for 100, please.
This is the WTH. At 10 a.m. yesterday, for an hour, no one at our Pentagon had internet access.
What the?
They shut it all down for some work. Oh. Now, TC, God dang. It's like, let's going to hold our breath that nothing's going to happen in the world.
For a whole hour?
For an hour.
Now, couldn't they have done that in sections so that the entire Pentagon wasn't?
What the hell, folks?
Now, whose bright idea was that? Who signed off on that order?
Chuck, I'd now like to go with she said that for 300.
She said that.
Kathleen Sebelius, Miss Agent of Obamacare, our Department of Health, said reduction in the number of pregnancies will compensate for the cost of contraception. Oh, my God. Our government is getting involved in population control. Next thing you know, we'll be like China. We only want boys. No girls, please. My little Riley would have had to been aborted.
Can it get that bad?
She said that.
Can it get that bad?
Reduction in number of pregnancies. By the way, in China, they're going to have a real problem. There's not enough women for the guys, folks.
They didn't see that coming, huh?
They didn't see that coming. Wait. Hey, man, I'm getting a little lonely. I'm tired of looking at online magazines. I like the real thing. All right. He had a bad day. This is too funny. He had a bad day. State Treasurer Bill Lockyer was sent a sex tape of his wife with another man. Oh. She's a county official. The affair became public when she called the cops from an assault by her lover at a hotel room. Now, you remember my instructions to my wife and kids. If they have to call 911 for me, they just say, this is Bob's house. They don't say this is Eric Deters' house. They say Bob's house, right? Now, the state treasurer, let me put this from California, gets a sex tape of his wife having sex with another man. That's a bad day.
That is a bad day.
Now, the woman needs to be jackwagon for this reason, okay? And I know she shouldn't have been having an affair in the first place. Let me see. You're married, you're a public official, you're married to the California state treasurer, and I'll tell you right now, if your lover starts beating the hell out of you, you just got to take it. You don't call 911 and have the cops come. You just got to take the beating. God.
Man.
I want to tell you something.
Kind of harsh, isn't it?
I've represented people that have had these kind of things happen to them. I know one person who said they came home, they played softball, and they were on a co-ed softball team, and she said she came home early because the game got canceled, and she walked in the house, and her boyfriend and one of her friends were like they were in the middle of it, okay?
Wow.
And she just threw up, involuntarily throwing up.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody sent you something of that with your wife, God.
Oh, yeah.
You just pass out.
Now, see, in that situation, though, the boyfriend should have known the minute he saw raindrops, hey, that game might get canceled.
Yes.
You should have thought of it. You didn't think it through.
Yes. Now, the next one is, what's I said Bob before. Who does Jeopardy?
Jeopardy. Alex Trebek.
Alex. I'm losing my mind for double bonus. Alex. The DNC chair, Sergeant Schultz. You know, Sergeant Schultz is our nickname for Debbie Wasserman Schultz. This is incredible. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, if you don't Yinger and I were having a conversation yesterday about how Barack Obama is intentionally just driving America off the cliff with devaluing the dollar and hyperinflation, with the debt increases, with the energy policies, with the immigration policies. I'm going to do a rant, I think, before the end of the day. DNC Chair Sergeant Schultz is attending a fundraiser for a group led by someone on the federal terrorist watch list. She's the keynote speaker. The group called Emerge USA. It ought to be called Conquer USA. The group called Emerge USA is a Muslim community group led by Karoom Wahid. And guess what? Karoom Wahid is on the federal terrorist watch list. And she is the keynote speaker. She's the DNC chairman, and she's speaking at this group. How does somebody do that and get away with it?
What's the purpose? What's the strategy here?
Called money. How much is she being paid as the keynote? And it gets worse than that. If she's the DNC chair and she's a member of Congress, what is she doing behind the scenes that's undermining America? That's pretty scary.
That is, but maybe she's trying to, I don't know, build confidence, you know? You never know. For intel purposes.
I'm losing my mind, folks.
Far-fetched idea, but you never know.
Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, can you imagine that? That's incredible.
It is kind of shaky.
You got to like that.
It's shaky.
That Sheriff Joe down in Arizona, the guy that's under attack because, he was pretty tough on immigrants. Of course, then the feds start investigating him, Sheriff Joe. They start investigating him for profiling illegal immigrants. A Hispanic guy walking with a backpack across the desert. Maybe he's Anyway, he claims that he's got probable cause that the president's birth certificate's a fraud. What's he going to do? He's going to show up at the White House and arrest Barack. I got probable cause. I'm issuing a warrant. There's going to be an arrest warrant for her. They're going to say, Mr. President, you can't go to Arizona. There's an arrest warrant for you there. There's probable cause in Arizona. He's going to go to a judge and say, I need an arrest warrant. I think there's probable cause that this is a fraud.
He's going to have a heck of a time getting those delegates, isn't he?
Good golly. Oh, my goodness.
Some people will do anything to get in print, won't they?
You can't make this stuff. In economic news, Kroger sales are up 8%, but fourth quarter is a loss because of pension costs. Macy's same-store sales up 4.6%. In the banking news, Goldman Sachs stock value up 5.2%, Morgan Stanley up 3.5%, J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America have big gains, and the Dow closes at 12,980.30. Hey, and guess what? It's getting better, right? Economy's getting better.
Oh, yeah.
Inflation is now at 8%. Back in the Jimmy Carter day, when we had malaise, we had double-digit inflation, we got double-digit unemployment, and we got double-digit interest rates. Do you believe that? Under Jimmy Carter, double-digit interest rates, double-digit unemployment, and double-digit inflation.
Triple doubles. He should have played for UK.
I'm here to speak to you tonight. Despite the double digits, re-elect me. He wonders why Ted Kennedy challenged him in a primary. Well, inflation is now at 8%.
Yeah. Wow.
That's not good. Oil's at $110 a barrel. So much for our friend, the Prince of Saudi Arabia.
See, somebody needs to Oprah needs to talk to this man and say, look, we need to be worried about gas prices.
No, he wants them to go up. Now, ladies, how much time do we got?
Another couple minutes. Minute and a half.
Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, remember when Barack Obama said he wanted to bankrupt the coal companies? He wanted to bankrupt those naughty coal companies. Well, get this. And by the way, this is from Nation of Change, a liberal organization, which I get their newsletter. I'm watching them. 2 plants in Chicago owned by Midwest Generation, the Fisk plant and the Crawford plant, had been a key target of local activist groups. These 2 plants have been in operations since the early 1900s and were last updated in the 50s and 60s, along with violating grandfathered air quality standards and causing hundreds of emergency room visits each year. The 2 plants represented the largest source of local greenhouse gas emissions in 2010. Along with some Pennsylvania coal plants, they're closing. Get this. Since 2010, 106 coal plants have closed.
Wow.
106 coal plants closed, folks. Hey, the economy's getting better. Economy's getting better. On Real Talk, 1160.
He's back on with us Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. Danny McEwen back in the garden here on Real Talk 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
This is the Bulldog, Eric Deters, on Real Talk 1160. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, I have gone through my blog and newsletter. So I get to entertain you with some conversational rants. Now, you were dying to say something about coal, TC.
You were talking about the president saying he wanted to bankrupt the coal industry. And yesterday, Governor Kasich was in Cincinnati, talked to a few business leaders. He's got a 3-point plan. He wants to develop the state's shale oil resources. And one of the other things, look into new opportunities for coal.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, baby.
Trying to get those guys back in business.
Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, let me just kind of sum this up. You know, we go, like I talked about the dirty coal plants closing, and I think it is really important sometimes to stop and tie it all together again. Because what happens is we get lost in the reports and the news items on one issue, and we forgot, I forgot about that too. So let's just sum up the president's energy policy, okay? He is on record of saying that higher gas prices will force Americans to use less fuel, and the fact that this will force us to go green. He's on record. Secretary Chu, this week in a congressional hearing, admitted the Obama administration doesn't have any problem with those high gas prices that you are paying and putting in your truck and your car as you go to work every day. The president doesn't mind it. And you look at the green cars, the Volt, the Chevy Volt has had a battery problem issue. You know, the Prius, I guess, has been a semi-successful car, but the Volt's a disaster. The battery catches on fire. Nobody's buying them. We have an unbelievable amount of natural gas. In fact, we have more natural gas than any place in the world. In fact, we have such an abundance of natural gas, the price has actually gone down. We have oil reserves off the coast, and he says he's, loosening up those permits. He's not. And Anwar, they're going to let Shell do some drilling up in Alaska, but it's the regulations are just incredible of what they're having to go through. Everybody knows how he killed the XL pipeline. And what a joke there. He blames the Republicans. Other Republicans didn't give us enough time to study this. They studied the damn thing for 2 years. And now they're going to give us a little bit of the pipeline. Let me see, from Oklahoma to New Orleans. Well, guess what? There's a big old missing pipeline between that and Canada. And we run the risk of Canada running their pipeline to their west coast for China. The president on public record said, I want to bankrupt the coal industry. And he's gone after those dirty coal plants. And we've had 106 close since 2012. My guess is if you do the math on that, I'll bet you each coal plant employed 500 people. So I'll bet you that's like 5,000 jobs right there gone. 50,000 jobs. Bad math. 50,000 jobs gone. This fracking is under attack. The shale, how what they're doing up in North Dakota. And look at North Dakota's unemployment. North Dakota's unemployment is like 3%. They need workers. We have him spending money, lending money to the state-owned Brazil oil company to drill in the Gulf. Not for American companies. We want to be a customer of Brazil instead of a customer of ourselves. And then we got the green jobs debacles. I mean, $500 million here, $500 million there. I mean, for these companies that don't do a darn thing and they go bankrupt. I mean, it's criminal. I mean, it is criminal what they're doing. And Bill O'Reilly last night made a comment. He goes, I watched it early this morning. By the way, I've been up since 1 when I took a 2-hour nap from 11 to 1. How many people put in a 7-hour day before 8? The Bulldog. Anyway, I was watching Bill O'Reilly replay at 5 o'clock this morning, and he was speaking how he's asked for the administration to name one successful green energy loans. Do you know there's like 5 wind companies that got all these loans that have gone down the toilet? Well, it's rape. It's like what we did with green water. See, we applied for $100 million for green water loans. We took the money, divided it between me, TC, and Sensible Don, and said, sorry about your luck, it didn't work out. I mean, it's that easy. So that's what all these people getting these loans do. Do you think for a minute that those running Solyndra don't have millions and millions and millions stashed somewhere as the company collapses around them? It does. I mean, so it goes on and on and on. Now, on the way in here on Washington Times, I couldn't believe my ears. I heard the president bragging about how, we're now exporting refined gasoline and that Americans' dependency on foreign oil has declined, under his administration, like from 60% to 50%. Well, folks, let me just tell you something. That is so ridiculous for him to act like all is well with that. Because guess what? Even though we've decreased the percentage, maybe down 10%, the total amount of foreign oil that I think it's like 90%. I mean, it's an incredible high number of what we have to import to refine. So even if the percentage comes down, we are still completely dependent upon foreign oil from the Middle East. If the oil stopped flowing from the Middle East to us, we'd have serious problems. So when he says he decreased it by 10%, it's meaningless. We're still dependent. He can decrease it 10% more. We're still dependent upon foreign oil. And what's insane, you've already heard this argument from more people than just me. Why are we dependent upon our enemies? I mean, these folks are our enemies. That old prince over there in Saudi Arabia said he would not let the price of a barrel go over $100. Well, it's $110 now, Mr. Prince. Thank you, Mr. Saudi Arabia friend of ours. We sell them bombers. We protect them. If Saddam Hussein's invade Kuwait, we kick them out. Donald Trump was right. What if they had our military might? What if... and we had the oil. Ha, 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 ha. Just think if the radical extreme Muslims had the military might and we had the oil. What do you think would happen? War. They'd come take it. My Uncle Charlie, who was he lived to be 84 years old. He was a butcher and a liquor store owner. And he had some sayings. He had some great sayings like, if you never get rich working for another man. If you think nickels, you make nickels. If you got the idea, you can always hire the accountant. You hear that, Gary Collier, my accountant? And he also had this theory, and this was back, you have to understand, this was back in the Iraq hostage days and everything else. And you know what he said? He said, we ought to just go over there and take it. They're our enemies. They kidnap our people. We ought to just go over there and conquer their country. And I think about what Russia did a little while ago to Georgia. A couple of years back, Russia just basically took a little part of Georgia from Georgia. And you know what? Why don't we just say, you know what, Iran, you're going to keep poking your nose at us. We'll come conquer you. And I pointed this out in some writings that I've written. In the history of war in the history of mankind. Nobody ever occupies a country and rebuilds it. It doesn't work. You either, look, check out your history. You either conquer the country or you don't. Nobody, you don't occupy a country and I feel good. Okay, we're here to help you out here a little bit and get you back on your feet and we'll leave again. That is so naive. That doesn't work. You either should stay the hell out of the damn country or conquer the country. One or the other. But this president's energy policy, it drives up. You know why inflation's at 8%? Gasoline prices. He's driving up the price of gasoline on purpose. He admits he's doing this. His immigration policy, open borders. You know, Bernanke is flooding the market with dollars. Hyperinflation's on the way. We overregulated with Dodd-Frank. He's just submitted a budget, $1.3 trillion deficit, which is the almost 3 times the total value of Apple Computer times 3. People don't think this president is trying to bring America to the knees to be more like Europe and destroy her. We come back. I'm going to share something with the owner of our radio station. Told me yesterday. Good stuff on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160, raising a little hell
on a Friday.
If you want to raise hell, call 513-579-1160 and raise a little hell yourself. TC.
Yes.
In talking to our fearless leader, John Yinger, yesterday for a while about politics, he pointed out that, and I agree with this, the reason why the GOP race has been so nasty between all of them is the GOP knows that they're going to win. In other words, you know, when you think about how nasty the primary's been,
yeah.
One of the reasons why it is they say they know that the primary is it because everybody that's in the know in the Republican Party feels like it's a foregone conclusion they could run a goat and win because the economy's so bad, everything's crashing around Barack Obama, and that's why they're all fighting to the death.
Yeah,
because they know if they're the GOP nominee, they're going to be the president.
You become the nominee, you will be the king.
And that makes sense, and I believe it. I mean, Barack Obama with this economy. I mean, you had Bernanke, and we reported this yesterday. He came out and said, well, the employment numbers are probably not going to be able to get any better, you know. I mean, it's kind of like, geez, this is the Fed, the buddy of Barack. It's going south. And I can tell you this, just sitting here and watching Fox 19 during the breaks, Romney is crucifying Santorum in these commercials. He's running that commercial where in the debate he goes, well, you know, I disagree with it, but sometimes you got to take one for the team. Ouch.
Yeah. He's
showing how he increased spending, how he voted for this, how he voted for that. I mean, it is just, it's not good. I mean, in other words, the money that Santorum's got to spend is kicking Santorum's butt in Ohio. And you watch, just like in Michigan, between now and Tuesday, here comes Romney, and he'll win Ohio. Okay. And then it's over.
Now, I want to ask you, because after Ohio, I mean, we're big.
He'll win Georgia, too.
Now, after that happens, as you say, foregone conclusion, none of these guys here, because it's so nasty, has any chance of getting the VP nod. Who do you think?
You know what?
It's going to depend. Of course, it's going to depend on who gets the nomination.
Right. I still think Santorum might have a chance in a way. Or I tell you what, maybe not because of – actually, I take that back. He has destroyed that opportunity with all the social issue stuff.
Yeah.
So I think Santorum's gone. I think Newt's been too nasty, and he doesn't bring anything.
Right.
I think you go back, if he could be convinced of it, I think you go back to Rubio. Now, Christie has said he'd take the job. So you don't know – if he's campaigning for it now, he doesn't give you a state you need. New Jersey is not so critical. But Christie would give you, or maybe he does give you New Jersey, but Christie would give you some satisfaction on the conservative side of the equation from the economic side of the conservatives.
And he's well-liked.
Mitch Daniels from Indiana.
Okay.
Rubio in Florida, though's the guy, man. Rubio, the women would like him. The Hispanic would like him. The conservatives and Tea Party would like him, and he gives you Florida.
Yeah, you get the South.
I mean, that's a 4. I mean, that's a 4 points that nobody else can bring to you, man. Rubio, there's no question the best VP candidate, without any question, would be Rubio.
That's pretty. Yeah,
you got to win Florida now. A dark horse, another candidate that maybe wouldn't be all bad would be Portman as it relates to Ohio. But here's the problem. All the Bush people, which Portman is already lined up with Romney. I don't think Portman does anything for the Tea Party. Portman's an establishment candidate.
Yeah.
So, but Ohio, because you got to have Ohio, you got to have Florida. So if he would maybe pick him for that reason. How about old Herman Cain? What if we brought back Herman?
See, I would like that, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It's not going to happen because Herman's got this. See, Mitt Romney is such a Boy Scout and is so lickety-split clean. That's not going to happen.
Right.
Another possibility, it's not going to be Ron Paul, but Rand Paul. Rand Paul doesn't give you a state, but you satisfy the Tea Party movement,
right,
and you bring in those exuberant Ron Paul contributors and workers.
Now let me put a spin on.
So Rand Paul would bring you something.
Here's a spin on it, okay? Let's say that there's somebody at the DNC who's smart enough to say, okay, these few guys here are the ones that may get the VP nod. Who are they looking for dirt on right now?
They're looking on dirt on all of them.
You think so?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Just like how cool. They haven't found anything on Romney. No lovers, no girlfriends.
Right.
I don't think they're going to find that on Rubio, and you're not going to find it on Rand Paul.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, let's face it. We're all for Herman Cain, but, it didn't shock me about Herman Cain. Herman Cain was a traveling executive. He was out there at the hotels and the restaurants, and apparently his wife and him had a marriage that was kind of like, hey, I know you got to travel,
Right.
But I still think it's funny that none of those women, TC, have showed up since they got him out of the race. It's like, we just want to humiliate you enough to get you out of the race, and then we'll leave you alone.
Yeah, and they disappeared.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, and I think another thing, too, a lot of people, although I think it makes perfect sense to have someone with a business background running the country, for some reason I think people feel secure and comfortable with, quote-unquote, career politicians.
You hit the nail on the head, TC. It cracks me up. The people that complain and complain and complain. I'll use myself as an example, okay? Do you think the traditional voter, the older woman voter, would like a bald-headed guy who speaks his mind, is gruff like me? Hell no. It amazes me how people want change. They want somebody different. They don't want any of these kind of politicians. And then they vote for the same kind of person over and over again. That career politician looks like a politician, walks like a politician, talks like a politician. They vote for those same people, all the while complaining they want somebody different. They never play Joker's Wild. Remember Joker's Wild? You go off the board. They never play Joker's Wild and go off the board and vote for somebody unique and different. Minnesota did it with Jesse Ventura. But they never do that. They never go off the board and say, let's go a different route because this isn't working.
Yeah.
This isn't working. And you're right. People like those career politicians. It's like you've been elected before. So, okay, you've been entrusted before by the people, so now we can trust you again. I couldn't get elected. Just imagine, I couldn't get elected dog catcher. If I ran for some big race, look at my opponent. His bar license in Kentucky was suspended 61 days for unethical conduct. A bunch of BS, but that's a true statement,
But it has nothing to do with your economic policies.
It has nothing to do with my economic policy, my ability to be the governor, my ability to...
Right.
Absolutely, but that's what... You don't have a chance.
Yeah.
You don't have a chance. And, I don't know. But that's a great observation that you have, that they want to... And the other thing, too, about Obama and the Democrats and the liberals, we've been talking about these gas prices. Nobody is affected more... Besides me, I got a bunch of drivers, and I give them gas money. But let me tell you something.
Snappy delivers.
These little guys that are out there, these workers having to pay gas to drive 30 minutes. There's a lot of people in a tri-state that drive at least 30 minutes to a job. They live in northern Kentucky, and they're working in a factory north of Cincinnati.
Right.
How do they vote for Barack Obama? He's admitted that, his own energy secretary says, we want to keep these gas prices high. And now, how hilarious is it that the Democratic Party acts like they're for the little guy. They're for that 99%. With gas prices going through the roof. There's some rumors that the Barack Obama campaign team has basically said we're going to focus on the elitists, the liberals, the teachers, the African-American community, the Hispanic community, and have basically said the white blue-collar worker, the hell with you. There's rumors that they basically said these gas prices seem to be indicating that maybe that's their strategy.
Yeah.
But I don't care if you're black, white, red, green, or purple. These gas prices are hurting you.
Everybody.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not just a working man. If you're like a $50,000 salary middle manager in a company, these gas prices are hurting you.
And not just that, it's hurting everybody that has to ship their goods to the grocery store or to the department store or whatever, so that's raising the price on all of our goods.
And I disagree with something that Huckabee did in his report. He says politics is not the most important thing. You know, let me tell you something. When you're talking about, okay, what's important, your family or politics, like in general, I understand what point he's trying to make. But let me tell you something, folks. We forget. I've checked out of politics for a while until I got in talk radio. Let me tell you something. It's the most important thing in the world, and it will affect how is gas prices affecting your family?
That's right.
I mean, who is your public officials matters. Who is the president matters. Who controls the Senate and the House matters. And it affects your life every day. There's few things more important than politics right now. On Real Talk 1160.
Now the Reds are in spring training, and the Other Guys Sports Show now has their own Facebook page filled with lots of articles and videos. Check them out at facebook.com/otherguys on 1160. And now back to the Bulldog.
This is the Bulldog, Eric Deters, on Real Talk 1160. I think that was one of our best exchanges, TC.
Yeah.
Discussing the old fate of American politics. I always like to brag about my knowledge of history, which is left out of the so-called intelligent publications. Daily Events, Human Events, they have a daily history. February 29th, 1796, the Jay Treaty. On this day in 1796, the Jay Treaty went into effect, facilitating a decade of smooth trade between the United States and Great Britain. That is complete BS. Complete BS. Let me tell you what the Jay Treaty was, folks. After our country was formed in 1789, there broke out a war between Britain and France, and there were issues about, who should side of the war we should go into, who should we enter in on. John Adams basically lost the presidency to Jefferson because he kept us out of war. There's those that wanted to go to war with England, those that wanted to go to war with France. The French Revolution broke out. I mean, it was a disaster. But that wasn't all that was going on. I mean, Great Britain still had settlements out in the West. They still controlled the Mississippi River down to New Orleans. It was one of those. It was crazy. Well, they sent John Jay over. He was our first Supreme Court justice over to Britain, and he negotiated the quote unquote Jay Treaty. When he came back, they burned him in effigy everywhere. They said that there was somebody said that you could go from tree to tree without ever touching the ground, and how many trees John Jay hung in effigy being burned. The people rose up against it. The politicians hated it. The Jay Treaty was a disaster. It didn't do anything. It was kind of like one of those kiss your sister deals with Great Britain and how we were going to handle the western lands, and we leave them alone here and leave them alone there. Smooth trade with Great Britain. I did not. Disaster. The Jay Treaty was not John Jay's best moment. Interesting, John Jay was one of the writers of the Federalist Papers. He was supposed to write them equally with Alexander Hamilton and Madison, and Jay got sick, or his wife got sick. I forgot. There was some reason that John Jay had to bow out, so he only wrote a couple of them. I think he wrote 4.
Oh.
So Madison and Hamilton, well, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot, man, for helping us out here. Not.
Yeah, but now look at them now, though. They can take all the credit.
That's right. John Jay, the first Chief Justice of the United States. You know who was offered that spot and turned it down? Good old Patrick Henry.
Did he really?
Patrick Henry. He wanted to stay in Virginia. He didn't want to go to Washington.
No.
My hero, Patrick Henry. You know what? Speaking of Patrick Henry.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't we let everybody listen to Patrick Henry? God, Henry. It's a classic. Oh, he was stirring it up there. You know what people don't realize is when he says we are already in the field, they were. People forget that we declared our independence in 1776. The battle at Lexington and Concord all occurred in 1775.
Right.
So we were shooting at the British soldiers in Boston a year before we declared our independence. People tend to forget the chronology of events.
Yeah, it was going on.
And nobody remembers William Dawes. You know, there was two people that did that ride, Paul Revere and Dawes. Nobody remembers Dawes, D-A-W-E-S.
You're right.
Poor guy's been forgotten in history. Just gone. It's probably the way we'll be at TC and radio history. We'll just be forgotten. They'll say, who were those two guys?
We will go down in the archives.
The archives. The two guys.
Somewhere.
How long have you been in radio, TC?
1984. 27 years.
That's a lot of radio.
Yeah, it is. That is.
Do you love it, don't you?
You know what? I do. Just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. I enjoy this business. It's one thing about
it's
it.
It's addictive.
Great.
I mean, I'm a radio. I call it radio whore, man. I'm addicted to it.
5 o'clock in the morning, you know most of the news. You know what's going on in the world before most people get up. That's incredible.
You know, it's funny you mention that because when I went out the door today at 4:30, out the door at 4:30, I was thinking to myself how cool it is that I'm up and at 'em, and I'm going to do a radio show. Most lawyers are showing up at 10 o'clock at their office. I do a radio show for 2 hours by 9. It's pretty neat. So I know what you're talking about. Now, let's share with the American jury this. People need to know you better. TC, you actually teach radio.
At the Ohio Center for Broadcasting.
And what do you teach?
We do go through a whole bunch of it. They do radio and they do video stuff. So I do not all, but most of the radio stuff. We go over programming, formats. They even do a talk show segment. And they have what are called station days. After that,
I bet you those kids love that.
They do. It's fun. But, you get into the business thinking it's one thing, and then you learn how things are, and it's not exactly the same.
And there's no jobs in the radio business, is there? I mean, I was telling you,
no good paying jobs anyway. Except this one.
It's a rough business out there.
And because there are thousands upon thousands of great voices all over the country, and with technology now, you've got a guy in Arizona who's doing voice tracking for a radio station in South Carolina.
Right, you can do radio from anywhere.
Yeah.
You can do it from your basement on your internet.
A lot of people do.
This is my computer cast of Bulldog Nation Radio. In your mom's basement. Just like Garth. It worked for Garth.
It did. Now see, there are a lot of guys could be doing that now. And the technology is incredible.
Right.
Remember that song, Video Killed the Radio Star? It wasn't video, it was the hard drive.
You're right. You're right. Well, TC, we are going to be back on Monday, of course, to deliver radio superbity to the American people, the American jury. And it's going to heat up. I mean, the Super Tuesday, the commercials, I do predict that Mitt Romney's commercials are just going to just go. Now, there's one running right now for Santorum that Romney was the blueprint for Obamacare. But you know what? Don't you think that's kind of like old news now?
Yeah, they've been beating that one to
it's kind of like okay, yeah, blueprint. I think, and by the way, I think that's one of the things about a primary season. It does inoculate you and clean you and cleanse you, and it kind of beats you up a little bit, and it can be a real positive. I mean, people forget about this. Barack Obama had a real hard-fought primary with Hillary Clinton. And guess what? He became president. All those people that think that, this is damaging. Because you know what? They have no place else to go. Like a Santorum supporter is going to say, well, we're going to go for Barack. Like a Newt or a Herman Cain or a Michelle Bachmann or Ron Paul or a John Huntsman supporter is going to say, well, we're going to go with Barack Obama. It isn't going to happen.
No. And even the Mitt folks are going to say, let's say Mitt Romney gets in, he's going to say, look, you know what, boy, they really beat me up over that health care thing. He's not even going back there. He's not going to go that direction anymore. I think he learned his lesson.
Right. The one thing that I wish Romney would have done is what Romney should have did is it said that it was a mistake. He defended it, which was a strategy. I mean, he obviously sat down and said, hey, we can – I think he could have said, you know what? What we did in Massachusetts, it just didn't work out, and I realized why it didn't work. Just think if he's out there debating Barack Obama, he's able to say, hey, man, I know what you try to do on a national level. It didn't work on a state level.
Right.
I know it can't work on a federal level. Now, he's going to be saying that. He's going to be saying, hey, this does not work on a federal level at all. And it is killing. I mean, some of those provisions are starting to come into effect. And then, by the way, folks, I think next week, this coming week, is the oral arguments before the Supreme Court on the Obamacare issue. And the Supreme Court issues a decision on this that finds it unconstitutional. What a big waste of money. Just think of all the headaches, all the money, all the waste, everything, if this is found unconstitutional. And I think it's going to be found unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend. It's going to be bad weather. Go to a movie. Take naps. Stay in bed. This is the Bulldog with TC. We'll be back Monday for some more Radio Superbity. Every dog has their day. Tuesday's going to be Romney's on Real Talk 1160.